In the quiet fields of rural Ohio, one farmer lived for the land, the work, and the peace. But when a new neighbor moved in with complaints and quiet entitlement, that peace began to wither. What started as missing vegetables turned into late-night theft, a viral dinner disaster, and a lesson no one saw coming. This isn't just a story about a farm. It's about boundaries, consequences, and how one man turned patience into the perfect plan. James Harris didn't ask for much. A good morning sky, a clean stretch of soil, a tractor that roared like it meant something. Life on the farm in rural Ohio wasn't glamorous, but it was honest. He had rhythm, he had peace, and above all, he had his land. That peace lasted right up until Claire Stevens moved in next door. She arrived in the middle of spring, her SUV kicking up dust on the gravel drive like a storm that didn't belong. New siding, fresh landscaping, a satellite dish the size of a dinner table. Claire didn't just move in, she arrived. James gave her the same welcome he gave everyone, a nod, a wave, a loaf of fresh sourdough. She barely looked up from her phone when she took it. The complaints began within a week. Does your tractor have to run at 5 a.m.? I can't open my windows because of the smell. Maybe you should consider organic methods. There are apps for that now, you know. James smiled politely. Farming taught patience, but not silence. I've been here 22 years, he replied once. The manure's not going anywhere. Claire smiled too. It was the kind of smile you wear when you plan to win. Still, James kept his distance. It wasn't worth it. Until it became personal. At first, it was small. A row of tomatoes picked clean overnight. A couple of heads of lettuce gone. He chalked it up to animals. But the signs didn't fit. There were no tracks, no trampled soil. The cuts were clean. Someone was harvesting his food. It escalated quickly. 4 rows of kale gone in one night. Cucumbers stripped from the vine, then a week's worth of carrots yanked straight from the earth. It wasn't wildlife. He had a feeling. But James didn't accuse. He observed. He set up a motion sensor camera near the garden beds, not for revenge, just for proof. It didn't take long. One morning before dawn, he reviewed the footage and felt a slow, cold burn rise in his chest. There she was, Claire Stevens. Gloves on, basket in hand, smiling, plucking his vegetables like it was her birthright. She even took a selfie holding one of his heirloom tomatoes. James watched the clip 3 times. Then he smiled. It wasn't anger. It wasn't shock. It was something deeper, disappointment maybe. The land meant something to him. The work meant something. You don't touch another man's field. You don't take what you didn't sow. But instead of confrontation, James decided on a lesson. It began with seeds. He planted a new row, carefully arranged between his sweet peppers and basil. They looked harmless, bright, even inviting. But they weren't. They were ghost peppers. Butcholokia. Tiny grenades of heat. Weapons in chili form. Harmless at a glance. Devastating when mishandled. He didn't hide them. He just didn't label them. A few nights later, the camera caught her again. Same outfit, same basket, same stealth that wasn't stealthy enough. James said nothing. The storm came later. Claire threw a garden party. James saw the white tablecloths go up, the wine bottles, the curated playlist echoing faintly across the fence line. He stayed nearby, pretending to weed ears open. Guests arrived, dressed like they'd stepped out of a magazine. Claire beamed as she served salad and charcuterie, boasting about her homegrown ingredients. James heard laughter, then coughing, then something else. Panic. It started with one man clutching his mouth, eyes watering. Then another guest bolted for the sink. Someone screamed. The music cut. Claire ran inside, red-faced, gulping milk from the jug like a fire hydrant. James walked back inside. The next morning, the police arrived. Claire had filed a report accusing James of poisoning her guests. She claimed he had sabotaged her garden with toxic plants, that he had targeted her. But James was ready. He handed over the footage, every frame of her trespassing basket in hand. Her selfie with the stolen goods. Multiple dates. Multiple times. The officer watched in silence. When he finally spoke, it wasn't to James. "Miss Stevens, what you've done constitutes criminal trespassing and theft. Your guests consumed food you took without permission. That's on you," Claire sputtered, denied, backpedaled. But the footage didn't lie. She wasn't arrested, but she was cited. Her guests were furious. The community took notice. The video leaked online. James hadn't posted it, but someone did. Maybe a guest, maybe a neighbor. The internet took sides, and not hers. Comments flooded in. She stole from him and played the victim. She deserved those ghost peppers. Classic Karen behavior. Claire tried to spin the narrative, claimed it was all a misunderstanding, but the damage had been done. She became the cautionary tale of the county. James never gloated. He never spoke badly of her in public. He didn't need to. The land had spoken for him. Weeks later, a real estate sign appeared in her yard, for sale by owner. The SUV disappeared. The house sat empty. Then came the knock. A man in his early 40s. His wife beside him, both holding a pie and looking nervous. "We're the new neighbors," the man said. "Heard a lot about you. We're hoping for a fresh start." James nodded. "You like peppers?" They laughed. Months passed. The land healed. So did James, in his own way. The incident stayed with him not as a wound, but as a reminder. That peace isn't given. It's kept. That boundaries matter even when fences don't. And that sometimes justice grows from the same soil as patience, quiet, steady, and when necessary, blisteringly effective. In the end, Claire taught him something too. There's more than one kind of pest on a farm, but there's also more than one way to handle them.